Sorry for the technical delays. I was looking for the right location to go live and then simultaneously trying to switch to setup um, up here today to come into my getting ready space. I figured why not try something a little different and see how it goes. And yeah, so here we are. And I'm going to play around with some different screens and things that I can see on here because why not? We're going with the flow. We're checking into our different roles and femininity. So why wouldn't we? And yes, I'm fully clothed, people. Just in case anybody was wondering, which is kind of one of the reasons why the get ready with me's don't usually happen that often, because I like to get ready and be completely comfortable. So for me, being in my full being in my full femininity, it looks like me being able to I'm getting some messages from the team. Maybe some things are or aren't working. I'm just going to check really quick just to make sure. Either way, there's been an outage. Okay. We'll find out how these things are going and how it's looking. Anywho, as we're back to today's topic on femininity and all the roles. So at some point in time, I'm pretty positive, whatever your gender is, however you identify, there is a need or necessity for you to get ready for each day and to decide what that's going to look like, how that's going to go. And the best way for most people to figure that out is to determine what roles are they showing up for today. So maybe Monday through Friday, if you have a traditional work schedule, the roles that you're looking at showing up for might be for work. It may be for parenting. It may be for whatever it is. But there's different roles that you're showing up for. So when you're showing up for these roles, there's a benefit and beauty in going with the flow, just like water. So allowing our femininity to flow like water looks like how, for instance, we started a little bit later, but we're still here. We're still on topic. I chose to do something different and try it out and see how it goes. We'll all know for sure if this is a keeper or not. I hate to say it, but my routine to get ready is fairly simplistic, so it doesn't really take that long. There's nothing super exciting about it. But in the midst of wanting to show up and wanting to have an opportunity to show what this flow and what the different roles that I may embrace look like, different roles you may be embracing, and how to maintain that femininity within the process and flow of it. My team has been communicating with me off and on while we are on this here live. And I think I'm going to prop my phone up so I can better see the responses and be able to have a chance at responding back. With that being said, there's this ideal that if you are a woman specifically and you are doing all the things, then of course you are taking care of yourself. You're putting all the hours in, you're doing all the things to make sure that you physically show up in the way that people are expecting you to, based on where you said you were going and what you were doing. So that may look like you're showing up maybe for a date, you're showing up for an interview, you're showing up for a live. Depending on how you do the things you do, there's a different expectation that people are going to have of how you show up. I'm going to be honest. I'm totally here for any tips on how to best take care of myself and how I'm doing my skin routine. I'm sure someone that's an amazing esthetician is like, oh my God, she's ruining herself. I'm open. I'm available. Send me a message. Now, crazy part is I probably can't see them right now, but I'll totally look at them later and be more than happy to embrace and take in all the suggestions. And then who knows, maybe we'll do another tea talk where I'm getting ready and we can see if I incorporated what I learned or not. Maybe we'll have somebody jump online with us and then be able to facilitate how to get ready properly on camera. Getting back into these roles and femininity. So when you are looking at who and how do I want to show up for the day, again, how you do that determines what your schedule is like, what things you've allowed into your life, what things you're allowing to flow, and moreover, how you want to go about doing it. Historically, people would be doing it in the way that best suited and fit other people's expectations of them. What I invite you to take in is how you can look at embracing what aspects you want to keep about traditional or historical roles, and then what parts you want to actually shift and change so that it works for you. Oh, I forgot to grab one more thing, so I'm going to stand up and grab that. But looking at, okay, if I am going to show up in this particular way, are there certain colors, clothing, different things that feel good for me and also allow me to portray the image and the message that I'd like to give out? When people are, when you're looking at, okay, so if you're taking on these roles, you're putting on the clothes, you're putting on the mindset. So it's not just physically what you look like, mentally, what's the mindset or what's the briefcase or suitcase of information that you're taking with you to show up in this particular role. Once you mentally have taken this on, physically you've embodied it, now how do you present it to the rest of the world? The way that you may go about it really is dependent on what level of success, comfort, and all the things in regards to how you show up that you are willing to share, embrace, and put out into the world. If you are still stepping into the space of how to be a boss bee, but take maybe a little bit of the bee part out and add more of the legit hardcore goddess, feminine, like strong, powerful, intelligent, and doing so from a way that actually feels more comfortable. You're not fighting against yourself. You're not trying to cause yourself to be something that you aren't naturally, and you're not giving yourself that extra set of pressure to show up to meet other people's expectations when yours were already sufficient. Normally, when I get ready, I absolutely completely forget to spray this on until I've taken my hair scarf off, and then I'm trying to figure out how not to wet my hair up, because the way this natural hair thing works is moisture is not necessarily my friend if I don't want my hair to curl up. So we've looked at mentally how we're taking on these particular roles, right? We've looked at how we may want to show up physically. And please be mindful. I am not saying that you go show up into a location completely prepared for something else and it's inappropriate. But what I am saying is, if you know that you've got a little more colorfulness to you, you are maybe in the opposite, significantly more reserved, get comfortable with that, dig into that, and pour into that aspect and version of yourself so that you really do have the opportunity to show up as your most amazing, dope, bad goddess, all the fire, flames, water, like all the things. But you're doing so in a way that really puts you in a position to feel comfortable. Some of these different roles might not ever even leave the house. It may be your role as the head of your household. It may be your role as partner to someone else. It may be the parent to a kid. It may be the sister, brother, mother, whatever these roles are. Some of them start before you even consider what you want to look like for the day. And even within those, there is a dawning of like what it takes to be in that role. And a lot of them are so automatic that you don't even give yourself a chance or opportunity to really explore how to go about doing that. You just show up, show out, and sometimes that show out looks like you showed out instead of showing up. When we are integrating our femininity into how we want to do lives and how we are being intentional about what's happening, there is a benefit and beauty to taking a breath. This is where you're kind of incorporating what I would say that yoga aspect of how you're showing up and functioning. You take a moment to breathe into, what am I doing today? Why am I doing this? And how do I want to go about doing this intentionally? I'm not gonna lie, I keep looking at these different, I can't change that once I'm in here. How you're doing these things. So as I take the scarf off and we unveil, which that word holds so many meanings for me, we unveil the hair and see what we're gonna be doing with it today. If you notice, of course, I forgot something else, so I'm gonna go grab that really quickly. You may see all the wisdom starting to come in at these roots here. And I like it. It's kind of a mixed torn thing. And looking at this femininity and these different roles, if I am alluding or portraying a particular lifestyle, how my hair looks, things that I choose to embrace or not embrace, they are impacted. Other people's opinions of how I look or what these things look like are absolutely impacted. So there's the aspect where I care, and there's the aspect where I rightly don't give a flying F. Because in order for me to embrace my version, my level of femininity, if I care more about what other people want or need from me, then I prevent myself from giving me what I need. I find myself making my decisions, actions, and choices based on what others are asking or requesting. And that is a surefire way. And I know everyone has said it and it's repeated, and it doesn't hurt to keep saying it over and over again. You find yourself in a position where you are burnt out because you keep doing everything for everyone else. You keep showing up for them how they want you to show up, in the ways that they want you to show up. And then you're bypassing what you want. Or better yet, you're not even taking a moment to take a breath to determine, what do I actually want? How do I want to show up? Did I want to cut all my hair off, or did I need to cut all my hair off? And, some of those pillows can be a little bit harder to swallow than usual. My invitation to you, as you're embracing femininity into your different roles, is recognizing what level of masculinity and femininity is needed for both. Not for both, needed of both in each specific role. When I'm going to go do manual labor, so I'm about to go build something, the feminine component of how I show up in that role or that space looks like me taking more time to plan out how I'm going to do it, so I don't accidentally F around and find out that I am not as strong as I used to be by just trying to muscle up everything and then end up hurt and taking myself out for who knows how many weeks until I can recover. Slowing down and looking at, how can I solicit support and help? Who is available and willing to help me in this moment so that I can make this a more effortless process for myself and for other people? Like, is there a way to actually make this fun? Is there a way to decrease the amount of time and attention that needs to go to this project or this activity, and still get it done to the best of my ability, and utilizing the support and help that I do have accessible as effortlessly as possible? So it's almost like, how do I, when I'm embracing my femininity, how do I make asking for help and support so relentlessly sweet for someone else that it's like almost hard to consider not helping? It's like, gosh, you made it seem so easy. Why wouldn't I want to help? It's like, I don't know. Why would you? Like, it seems like it's a win-win for everybody. You help me, I help you, we all get it done. Everybody gets to show off a strength of theirs and like really move into it. Now, to be fair, getting your teenagers or children to help you with stuff that could be a little more skillful. But that is the part where I'm flowing in my femininity, when I'm recognizing I don't need to be hyper independent and jump back into my traumas, or nobody can do it as good as me or better than me. And that may or may not be true, but it doesn't matter. To be fair, it really doesn't matter. Someone else can be not as good at doing something that I may be able to do, but I don't need to do everything all the time in all the ways. What I do need is to have the energy to do the things that I'm supposed to be, that have been placed on my plate. And that does not mean every single thing. So when we're just looking at the example of like getting a physical project done, being able to ask for help and support requires a removal and death to the ego that you can do all things. That level of embracing your femininity to be able to do that puts you in a position where not only are you going to get your needs met, but you're going to ensure that you preserve your own energy, as well as still taking care of, and this is where that masculine component comes in, of getting the thing done, getting it done hopefully quickly and effectively, but also still taking care of yourself and the other people involved. I'm debating on how I'm going to try to curl my hair today, because there's this part of me that's like, maybe we're just keeping it straight and we're just bumping it back out, because why not? I think that's what we're rolling with today too. So back to what we were talking about. So yeah, maybe just getting ready and all the things. I might not have the skill set yet, which might mean more practice. It might mean being comfortable with, maybe this just isn't the thing that we do over here. And drop my comb. If I was still in cosmetology school, you'd have to throw that comb away and go get a brand new one. But since I'm not and we're in my house, I don't have to. So yeah, getting back into it. We're seeing if this is going to work out well or not. And of course, now that I'm starting to sweat profusely, we'll see how interesting this is going to turn out. And all of my hair clips have been stolen because, if you've got children that live in your home, if you've got something cool, of course, it automatically goes to them, because why would they not use your cool stuff? And there's an aspect even within that, for me embracing my femininity, of being comfortable with, am I going to go have to set more boundaries again? Absolutely. Do I need to go scream and shout and show a brute force to get my point across? No. There are definitely more subtle and helpful ways to go about doing this that will not require me to overextend myself, inconvenience myself, or really even have to do much more than send a text message, thanks to these lovely cell phones and electronic devices that states the necessity for everyone to utilize their own things. So this is me taking on that mom role within my household, showing leadership and guidance. And to be fair, some folks will say, well, you wouldn't have to do all that if it was totally established. Maybe, maybe not. Or everyone is continuing to grow and just express and exercise how it is they want to show up, which means a reinforcement of previously stated expectations, wants, and desires for a harmonious living environment. So in this role of being mom, I get to determine the tone of my household. I get to determine, am I embracing toxic masculinity, or am I starting to incorporate a level of femininity in the house that not only allows everyone to collectively work together and flow like water, but gives everybody the opportunity to be responsible for those contributions and how they want to go about doing it, so everyone's needs not only get met, but they can be met at a superior level, with respect still intact. There's not like a miscommunication or misunderstanding of like what anyone's roles are, but everybody gets to express and manifest their level of femininity. So I would say I do feel good that within my home at this point in time, the ladies that I've been in charge of to grow up and be their mom, their level of embracing their femininity has been a beautiful process to watch. And the beautiful process of it has looked like me making sure that I show up in my own level of femininity and stop being so hard. Because if you know me from back in the day, you would know, at least high school and other different arenas of life, softness, kindness, flowing, those words didn't even really, you wouldn't put those words together and with me. It would look more like the roles that I chose to take on were definitely more of a, how can I be hard and be harder than the men or the guys? Because there was this, oh yeah, we're going to switch it up and change it now. There was this ideal that if I did things just as well as the guys did, then they would have to respect me. And of course, that would mean that they totally would like me that much more because, wow, this is a girl that does just what we do in the ways that we do it and is doing it better. Spoiler alert, that is not what anybody is looking for if you are seeking a partner of the opposite sex and you happen to be a woman. Embracing the role of understanding if I want to be someone's partner. That means those things, those childish things that I grew up with, or not recognizing that men or people in my life that loved me, of course they were proud of me when I accomplished things. Like, why wouldn't you encourage someone that you love to keep accomplishing great and awesome things? But missing that those men served a different role in my life, hence the role that I had with them also absolutely looks different. Their support of my successes and accomplishments were because it was clear I obviously needed it. I needed the support. I needed the acknowledgement because I'm human, because I am not out here on an island by myself. So while I needed those levels of support, there's also another aspect that doesn't really get poured into very often or spoken on. But where is the support for showing up and really going hard in your femininity aside from someone maybe acknowledging that you can have a cute outfit on? Where is the, I almost want to say counterintuitive slowing down of not doing all the things that gives you the opportunity to be available, to be poured into, to be supported, to be helped, to be appreciated, to be loved? Like, how are we pouring these things into the different roles and how we show up? So in the position of leadership, while you may be the person that's in front of and in charge of the people that you're working with, that doesn't mean that they too can't still pour into you. That doesn't mean that there can't be a level of help and support that genuinely can only come from you giving them the space, permission, and opportunity to be able to support you. Uh-oh, screen was about to close out. I don't know if this hairstyle is actually hitting or working for me, but this is what we got going for today, folks. This is what we got going. And I think based on the amount of sweat, we will not be pulling it over our foreheads to the point I can't even do my eyebrows because it's too hot. Again, this getting ready with me and attempting to talk about femininity and the roles, you guys got to be a part of a process and see how it went, how it's showing up. Yep, I think we're brushing everything back today just to preserve a little bit more of the non-sweating for the day. We'll see how this works out. It might not work out at all. And you know what? The most feminine thing I can do about that is be okay with it and let it flow. I'm either going to look good or I'm going to look good. Now, that look good is very much so subjective, and that's okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to pull this side back out. When you are embracing how it is that you want to show up, the opportunities and spaces that you have to show up in, and your responsibility to do so, why not choose to do so by embracing the thing that naturally and innately is already there? So giving of yourself in the ways, in the times, in the formats, in the physical form, in the mental space of how you want to, but doing so from your space of a feminine role. Still incorporating that aspect of masculinity that you need to get the things done, to show up for the people and produce what you said you would produce. But what would it look like to also take that breath, slow down so you can speed up and really give yourself a moment. How do I want to embrace this particular role or these roles that I'll be embracing for the day? How do I want to pour into the world and also receive back? What are the ways to make this happen and to do so on a more consistent and frequent basis? I think at this point, as much as I have now sweated and just trying to get my hair done, today's definitely going to be a no makeup day because we just poured in a whole lot up here and I'm letting it flow like water in the space of this is enough, this is sufficient. I can now go put on whatever clothes it is I think I really want to wear for today, since we were able to get a little bit of time in together. And based on the platform, I, for the life of me, can't figure out how to check the chats to be able to respond back to you guys while we're actively doing this. But I will definitely go back, and between myself and my team, we will look at the comments, the statements, and check out any questions that are coming through. Also, on another note, depending on when you're seeing this, today, I believe, is the first day of the Moms CEO conference. If you haven't already, definitely check on any of my links, any of my social media posts, and go sign up to get an opportunity to to hear from a bunch of amazing women that are also CEOs, entrepreneurs. They are sharing and doing all the things, and they are really breaking down these stereotypes and stigmas of moms being able to also be CEOs. So again, it flows directly into this. These women embracing their femininity and also embracing their masculine, and how they are not only creating businesses, providing services to others, but also giving to the world by the services they do provide, and still taking care of the people they love within their own homes by showing them what it looks like and creating these standards and legacies of how women can not only incorporate multiple roles at once, but how they can do so successfully in a way that is supportive. With that being said, lovely, amazing folks, I appreciate you for spending your time with me. I hope to see you all on the Mom CEO conference, and that you definitely get an opportunity to check in and see my segment specifically about femininity and embracing being a mom and a CEO. So discussing the roles and how that plays out, and getting a little more in depth on what it looks like, why it is, and checking out the interview that we had the opportunity to explore on just a further deeper knowledge of that process and concept. Well, I hope you all have an amazing day, and I will see y'all on the next one. Or we'll just keep being here.